Sometimes they tell some pretty hefty fish stories. We don't know if they're true or not.
And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sanden, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sanden.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray, all by myself today because everybody else is sick. But I have a fabulous guest in with me here in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here, right next to the San Diego landings in Point Longman. El Presidente himself, Dave Pfeiffer from Shimano, is here, and we're going to be talking Shimano and CCA and a whole lot more, so you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and YouTube and Facebook Live and 97.3 The Fan. Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Quintin, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel. This year, make reliable boating your resolution and back it with exhilarating deals with a new Yamaha outboard during Yamaha's New Year, New Reliability sales event. From now until March 31st, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha 450 to 30 horsepower outboard and get up to 7 years of coverage protection. Looking to hit the water with lower horsepower? There's a deal for you too. Purchase a new Yamaha 25 to 2.5 horsepower outboard and receive up to $200 in dealer credit toward the purchase of additional goods and services. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Offer ends March 31st, 2025, subject to change. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Select models exclude 24-month Yamaha extended service added to a 36 or 60-month factory limited warranty. Choice offered to Florida residents is a 24-month Yamaha limited warranty. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealer for details. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Great to be here. Great to be back and from a big trip down to Chile and getting full speed ahead here in San Diego and right next to the world headquarters, right here in the world headquarters. Let's Talk Hookup. And we're gonna and of course, Ricky, poor Ricky. Get well, Rick, and get well, Corey. And it's going to be a fun weekend here because we have some great guests this weekend. But one of the guests that we always look forward to having is Mr. Dave Pfeiffer. Good morning.
Good morning, Peter.
Let me turn your mic up, and that would help, right? There we go. All right. Yeah, we got you now. All right. Well, great to hear from you, and thank you for coming back to Southern California here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been so long. I'm nervous this morning.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has been. I mean, it's been a couple of years since you've come into the world headquarters here. Yeah.
Interrupted that coming down. So yeah, appreciate you having me today.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I've got the wrong mic on. So there we go. Now we're going to hear you.
Oh, okay.
Now we can hear you.
All right.
Now we have you loud and clear. I just, I was explaining to you earlier, we have a lot of new buttons and bells here in the world headquarters, and Ricky's did a great job while I was gone. Rick and Corey did a great job while I was gone, and fantastic. But I have to retrain myself on pushing all the buttons and bringing all the mics up. So
that's a sign you're taking too much time off, Pete.
Well,
let's be honest.
I have to do field research, David. I have to do field research.
I understand.
Yeah. But anyway, great to have you. So what's been going on at Shimano?
Oh, there's always a lot going on in Shimano, and because I live it every day, when someone asks me that question, it kind of puts me on the spot, and I always stutter because I say I don't know a lot. But we just introduced quite a bit of new products, some really fun stuff for this year, and we'll have more coming out later this year. But that's new Stella, new Tranks, and then of course we recently have started our first renewal of Talica, which has been really exciting, and that's a very popular reel for here. So there's always a lot going on, lots and lots going on.
So tell me about the new Tranks, the Tranks 300,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. So we changed a few things on it that I think will be really good and important, especially for anglers here, because I think a lot of anglers here probably push Tranks even more than in a lot of other areas that where people fish around the country. Meaning, when I say push, meaning push the limits of it. So the new body construction is going to really help with that, where we make the body and side plate out of all one piece, so it makes it more rigid and stronger, especially under heavy drag. That makes a big difference. And then we change the cast control system to make it easier to adjust and a little bit more user friendly there. And then our X-Protect system to help reduce on corrosion, which is always an issue for lots of folks on fishing in salt water. So I think Tranks will be really good for people. So that's starting with the 300.
Now Tranks has always had X-Protect, right?
Yeah.
And did they upgrade the X-Protect?
There's been some changes with the body construction changes. There was some internal changes on X-Protect as well. Yeah.
All right. And then, of course, the new Talicas are pretty amazing.
The new Talicas are going really, really well. A lot of really nice upgrades on the new Talicas.
And, I mean, how can you make the perfect reel even better? But you did.
Yeah, there's always, it's just, the main thing there is that, it takes a while to see all the different ways that people are using our products in the market. And so being on the East Coast now, you see there's no similarities between how Talica is used on the West Coast and how Talica is used on the East Coast. And so we had to take all that into account in producing the new Talica. So the first generation Talica was really built primarily with West Coast in mind. But as people adopted it on the East Coast, we had to make some changes. But we also improved the Talica, I think, a lot for people on the West Coast. And, starting with, I think with PCS, we're going to have an interactive display where people can really see how much more power and efficiency Talica has in the new generation over the old generation.
Oh, so
Yeah.
how are you going to do that?
The demonstration, or how did we do it engineering?
No, how are you going to do a demonstration of that?
We just have the two reels side by side,
the
on
previous version,
previous and new one, on a mounted display where you can just simply crank up a weight and you just watch people's face. They're just amazed because they
that
didn't think,
much difference.
It's significantly.
And which
different.
reel you and now, of course, it comes in the 12, the 16, the 20, and the 25. Right?
I think for the display we do 25s.
The 25s.
Yep.
That's a beast of a reel.
It is a beast of a reel, even more of a beast of a reel now with because there's at heavy drag, your winding pressure is so much less now, meaning on you. The rotation is so much easier at heavy drag than it was
low
before.
gear too, right?
Yeah. And the whole body is smaller, so it's a little bit more compact, but the same capacity. So the 25 has the new handle, which I think everybody here will like, which is the bigger handle knob. Just a lot of upgrades for everybody here, especially the way people fish here.
And they're available now.
Yep, they're out there.
And then you mentioned a new Stella too.
Yeah, we upgraded Stella in a lot of ways, and Stella just keeps growing and growing in terms of the way people are using it, but also just the innovations on Stella. Very similar. We improved the casting efficiency, the infinity loop for longer casts, smaller loops, better line lay, and more drag. We improved the drag system on Stella.
How is that possible?
It's possible in the spool design because the drag washers sit in the spool. So the drag washers are not only larger, but they're stacked and built differently to achieve more drag, because especially up in the Northeast, that tuna fishery just is growing and growing. And I mean, there's people catching 400, 500, 600 pound bluefin tunas on spinning gear now. So, oh yeah, absolutely.
Like on bait, on poppers?
No, poppers and jerk baits.
Poppers and jerk baits. You catch a big tuna like that?
Yeah, they don't really fish live baits on them at all. Not with the spinning. That's more conventional Tiagra 130s and stuff. So yeah.
Wow, that's so. But Stella casts. So how do you increase? we're not a big, of course, the West Coast is not a huge spinning reel market. However, you know, if that bluefin tuna starts popping up again, like it has in the past, where they're eating the poppers and the surface fires and stuff like that, it's the tool.
Yeah. And so simply changing the winding shape and a few other things about the spool dynamic, we can get smaller, tighter loops coming off the spool that provide a lot better casting distance and a lot better line length.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem possible, but I mean, your engineers are so amazing.
Yeah. Well, they've got to push themselves too, and they got to keep changing and advancing. And again, I keep saying, but keep up with how people are demanding change by how they're using the product.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing.
The spinning market is much more East Coast, right?
Well, if you talk saltwater, yes, there's a lot more spinning use on the East Coast than there is here, but it's a very, very different fishery. I mean, anything from medium grade yellowfin tuna to medium grade bluefins and giant bluefins, they're all using spinning either in the what's called the jig and pop market. So either jigging, like butterfly jigging and et cetera, slow pitch, they're using spinning, or poppers and jerk baits, because when it gets to that size fish, you cannot, at least back there, consistently and all day throw a conventional reel of enough size to catch those fish.
Yeah. Now, when I fish with you in your new home in South Carolina, we used mostly conventional reels.
We did.
A lot of it.
Yes, for trolling, for sure.
Trolling.
Yep.
But we were jigging with a lot of conventional reels.
Well, that's only because that's my preference. But
okay,
I still prefer conventional myself for jigging. But an awful lot of people jig with spinning up there too. And again, also if you're fishing, big bluefin, like 300, 400, 500 pound bluefin jigging, you're not going to do that with a conventional reel all day. We don't even make anything really that's right for that.
Because of the castability?
No, it's just the size and the gear ratio and everything, and just how it works. Like you could do that with a Stella 10,000 or 14,000 or something like that, or even larger. You could jig all day with that.
Yeah.
But you can't jig all day with on a jigging rod, like slow pitch or something with a Talica 20 or 25. It'll just wear you out.
So there's less effort. What you're saying is there's less effort using a Stella.
Yeah. For that size gear
for
and everything for that size fish.
Yeah. And interesting. I never would have thought that. I would have thought the opposite. But I guess once you use it, you see. I've experienced catching big tuna on Stella.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how powerful and easier you can in some ways easier to land. And people here on the West Coast will say, no way you're going to land that fish on a spinning reel.
Yeah,
easier. It's a different mindset. It's
a different mindset, and it's just, I mean, again, if you go up to the Northeast, it's just a daily thing that everybody's fishing that and catching 300 to even 500 pound bluefin tunas on hard spinning reels all day. I mean, it's all day long, and they wouldn't use anything else.
Really?
So, now they're doing a lot. You also have to be up for that. You have to be up.
Yeah, there's no rail, right?
No, there's no rail. And
do they harness up?
No
harness at all.
No, some do. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but most of them don't. And but again, most of that jigging is still going to be on fish that are probably 150 pounds or less. But you don't know if you're going to hook a 300, 400, 500 pound fish either. There's a guy in our office who caught one that was just under 500 pounds on Stella jigging. He was jigging all day and got that one bite. And
wow.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fish.
Yeah.
And then in Japan, they use, same thing, jigging 100% spinning.
All the jigging.
Yeah.
So like what you're saying is that people like yo-yo fishing for yellowtail here, they'd be happier using a spinning reel, or?
No, I wouldn't say that, because yo-yo is different really than like slow pitch or other jigging.
Yeah.
And yo-yo, it's a straight wind, fast as you can go. And I think conventional is superior in that situation. Okay. So yeah.
But what about like jigging with heavy jigs? Like nighttime jigging, you still want to stick with Talica?
I think because of the way they do that here, they're not jigging the entire water column.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very narrow water column where they're marking the fish. I think conventional still makes the most sense for that, and then you can immediately go to the rail technique and everything else. Okay. It's not that spinning wouldn't work. It's just, again, if you're slow pitch fishing or regular speed jigging, you're fishing a big section of the water column. Whereas the jigging that we're doing for bluefin tuna here, it's a very small portion of the water column, right? You're essentially fishing where those fish are holding, but you're not jigging, truly jigging through like 100 feet of water.
Where you have to make movement on the jig through a large area.
Yeah, you don't need to do that as much.
And that's what you're saying, is that's the advantage of spinning.
Yep.
Is when you're going through a large section, you're able to move the jig the proper way where it's going to get bit better.
Exactly. When you have to part a lot of action with the rod and the reel together to get the right action on the jig, and you're talking large fish, spinning really actually excels. But if you don't have to utilize the rod and the jig through a large area of the water column, conventional is great.
Yeah.
And I would rather go that way. I would opt that way.
Yeah, you would. So rods, of course, your partner's G Loomis, and of course Shimano makes some fabulous rods. Talk about rods first.
Well, we're doing a lot in rods too. We introduced a lot of new jigging rods. True jigging rods, especially slow pitch rods with our Infinity Motive. And we had really a lot of fun with it. We did a 3-part jigging series shot in Charleston on my boat for Infinity Motive, and that was really, really fun. It's a longer than traditional rod for long sweeps on slow pitch that give you a tremendous amount of control on the jig on slow pitch, which is really important. And then we have new grappler rods, and we have new Osea plugger rods for that jig and pop market. And then of course we still have, a lot of different rods. So today we'll give away one of the G Loomis rail rods, extra heavy. Wow. Which I think will be the IMX Pro Offshore.
I've used those rods. I've caught big fish on those rods. They're unbelievable.
Super comfortable.
Super light.
Yeah, very light, very comfortable.
It's the IMX
powerful.
Pro Offshore.
Yep.
And it's going to be we selected an extra heavy, which I really like that extra. The double, they do make a double extra heavy, and it's for a little older guy like me, it's a little. It's heavy. It's
I'm a little
heavy.
older guy now too, and I know when I was on the show when I was young, I always went for like the heaviest, toughest stuff to fish. And now I'm like, you know what, this one will be a little easier on everybody. I just assume everyone's my age now, I guess.
So, what's the difference? Explain that. Why would you go with an extra heavy versus a double extra heavy? I mean, you can still land the same fish on both rods, right?
Yeah, you can. I think a lot depends on like a lot of things. What size fish are you generally in? And I mean, if you were pretty much largely in, fish that are like 200 pounds or maybe over 200 pounds, I think you're gonna want the extra heavy. And because especially on the sport boat where you may have to put a lot of heat on that fish as hard and fast as you can. But the extra heavy is a little more versatile for smaller fish, and it will certainly handle larger fish, but it just gives you a broader range, I think, is all. But again, that's just what are we in here? Are we in 60 to 80, 100 pound fish, or are we in like 150 to 250s?
Yeah. So that rod we're giving away, which would be a G Loomis rail rod, the IMX Pro Offshore. You've heard Brandon Nelson talking a lot about it here on the radio show. Extra heavy. What would you match that with as far as reel goes?
There's a pretty broad range there that you could do a TAC 20, you could do a TAC 25. You could go smaller. You could go all the way down to like a Talica 12, but that's really what you're more comfortable with. And again, where you're fishing and what's the range of fish. But I think on something like that, a Talica 20 is a great match.
Talica 20 is a perfect one for that.
It's
especially the new version.
Yeah, because the new version is a little more
version,
compact and lighter. But still tremendous amount of drag capacity, everything that you need. So
and the 20A versus the 20 Talica hold the same amount of line, right?
Capacities are all the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
That's just really the machining process where we can take more and I'm not an engineer, so I'm going to give you the total layman's thing is that through the different metals we use in the machining process, we can maintain the strength and take more material out.
I see. Okay.
So there's, the height of it is smaller, but we keep the same size spool, but the material around the spool and everything is reduced. So it's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, for sure. Now, G Loomis, you guys own G Loomis, and you kind of help guide them into the market. But G Loomis is also known for fly rods. That's kind of and I have to mention that down in Patagonia, I used for the first time the NRX Plus LP, which is a light presentation made for dry fly fishing or just lighter casts. unbelievable rod.
Yeah.
And it was the talk of the lodge. I got to tell you, everyone, oh, you have one of those NRX Plus LPs? Oh man, that's quite a rod. And it is. I let people try it and they go, whoa.
Yeah,
The
it's nice.
presentation on the dry fly on that rod, I'm throwing it out for my fellow fly fishing people out there, is amazing.
I used it in Montana several times too, and it's just it's so intuitive. You just pick it up, and it's just so easy. You don't even think about it.
No,
and fly goes where you want, how you want, and I mean that's what a fly rod's supposed to do.
Exactly.
So, and I know there's a lot of really nice fly rods out there, but the LP is really, really a nice, easy for fish rod.
Yeah, definitely have to check that out. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. We haven't even ventured into Power Pro yet.
No,
and I want to talk about Power Pro because there's exciting stuff about Power Pro,
especially for this market.
Yes, for sure. And if you want to join us in this first hour on the Fan, 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973. And of course, for both hours, you can join us on the Let's Talk Hookup app via text. And you just open the Let's Talk Hookup app and you can text the show and we can get you on the air and get your question on the air for Dave. It's a rare opportunity to talk to the main man, the guy that runs the whole show here in the United States, Dave from Shimano, here on the show. So if you want to join us, on the text, just text the show, or on the Fan, 833-288-0973. And as we said, we're giving away a G to one lucky caller or texter that we'll select at the end of the show today. G Loomis Rail Rod, the IMX Pro Offshore Series, extra heavy style, so you can go catch one of those big bluefin this summer. And when we come back, we're going to talk more to Dave. Take your phone calls, take your texts. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California Sport Fishing Voice on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
24 years ago, I visited this amazing place called Hawaii Archipelago. I just could not get enough of this amazing islands. Natural beauty, friendly people, and phenomenal fishing. I knew I needed to spend more time there. Moving forward to today, here I am, a fishing lodge owner. Hi, this is Valerie Hopridge from Queen Charlotte Safaris in beautiful Hawaii Islands, British Columbia, Canada. We're a boutique lodge just steps from the Sanskrit Harbor, offering truly a unique fishing adventure. Our fishing is world-class. You will fish for king salmon, halibut, lingcod, crabbing, and much more. Our fishing grounds are unspoiled, untouched, and surrounded by stunning scenery. We're dedicated to making your venture an experience that will bring a lifetime of memories. We will welcome you as friends, and you will leave as part of our Queen Charlotte Safaris family. We are booking now. Please give me a call at 1-877-815-2892 or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or visit our website, qcsafaris.com.
Hey, this is Captain Benny Florentino, owner-operator of Coastal Charters. Just want to announce that I'll be running the Camus 26 hybrid boat from West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. Hybrid being a center console with bay boat features. The boat features a Michael Peters stepped hull that'll give both myself and my guests a comfortable dry ride. West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa will be carrying the 26 hybrid, 28 hybrid, and also a 34 cat. Heck, they even have some great looking bass boats. But if you have any other questions, feel free to call Nick Kelly or Kyle Mesa at West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa, and we'll see you on the water.
Take it from Captain Benny Florentino. West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa is your source for Camus boats, as well as Parker boats, Yamaha outboards, and now Mercury outboards. Sales and service, the finest you can find. Go see Nick and the guys at West Coast Marine on Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check westcoastmarine.com.
Whether you're boating, floating, paddling, fishing, or just chilling, remember, a good day on the water always starts with everyone wearing life jackets. Save the ones you love. Life jackets save lives. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Gas prices are going up, up, up. So now more than ever, you need Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. Pull up to the newly expanded Summit Gasoline and get low gas and diesel prices for your car, truck, and boat. They can now accommodate 24 cars and trucks to fuel at the same time, plus 12 diesel boats, plus 100 pounds of free ice with a minimum 35-gallon fill-up. Easy in and out, too. Step into the Summit Bistro and enjoy what Martha and her crew have for you on things you can use. Fresh made burritos, sandwiches, and salads, along with beer, beverages, and of course, always free ice. So many Let's Talk Hookup listeners have taken advantage of Summit Gasoline's low prices, great service, and free ice. They have become the largest seller of fresh gourmet ice in Southern California. Summit also sells frozen bait and fishing licenses 24 hours a day. Summit Gasoline, low prices, friendly staff, free ice, and easy in and out with your boat and trailer at the San Diego Sports Arena.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app and 97.3 The Fan. Great show with Mr. Dave Pfeiffer from Shimano here, and a lot to talk about here with Dave, and super good. If you want to join us on The Fan, have a chance to win that Gene Loomis Rail Rod IMX Pro Offshore Series, you can join us at 833-288-0973, or you can join us via the Let's Talk Hookup app, or, of course, YouTube and Facebook Live is available too. So I have a great question here, and we want to talk about Power Pro, and here's a perfect lead-in for this question about Power Pro, and it's from Baja Ben, and he says, what's the difference between regular Power Pro and Max Quattro Power Pro, and are there other types of Power Pro made besides those two? So leads perfect into the new one.
Max Quattro, simplest explanation is it's about 25% thinner than standard Power Pro for the same pound test. So like a comparison would be, you could fit, basically it gives you more capacity of line on your reel,
which is always nice, and the higher strength. So like 65-pound Max Quattro is roughly the line diameter of 50-pound standard. Okay, so you get more capacity, and I really like that because I like the thinnest line I can get away with.
40% thinner.
25%.
25%.
Roughly speaking, yeah. So I like the thinnest line because there's less drag in the water, et cetera, especially for jigging. But we just introduced Max Quattro metered, so it changes color every 100 feet. So this is an absolutely perfect line, especially for the type of fishing that everyone does out here for bluefin when you're jigging at night, because you know exactly where your line is, or where your lure is. So it changes color every 100 feet. There's a hash mark in between, so you can easily figure out where you are. It's great for jigging.
When you say a hash mark in between,
just like a color. So if it changes from blue to orange, in between the blue and orange, there's a space with a black mark.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So
because sometimes you can like, okay, which color did I just go through?
Yeah. So you can tell that. So
that's still going to be 25% thinner.
Yeah.
So you could fish 100-pound and it would be the size of 80.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's available now.
It's available. It's awesome for jigging. For the group out here, this is a hand crank swordfish market. Couldn't be better for sword fishing. Hand crank, like if you're using a Taliga 25 or pardon me, a Taliga 50 or a Tiagra 25, or
when you say
Tiagra
hand
50,
crank without an electric reel.
Yeah, no electric reel. Yeah. So you want to know where your depth is. If you want to fish 600 feet, you count out 6 colors and you are exactly 600 feet. So there's and similar for trolling for a lot of aspects. Like if you're trolling Mad Max and you want to know how far back it is, if you're at 200 feet or 300 feet back. So if you're staggering them with 2 different rods, again, you know exactly where you are. So there's so many uses for Max Quattro. But the second part of that question is, do we make other Power Pro products? Yes, we do. We make a lot of them. So we make Super Slick, which is a more supple Power Pro with a smoother finish on it. And that's it, because it's an 8-end line. That is a really, really nice product if you're doing a lot of casting, and especially in lighter pound tests. So that's really great. And then we make holloways, and our hollow is probably one of the easiest hollows on the market for splicing, serving mono or fluorocarbon. So we make holloways in all the necessary sizes. And then, we make Depth Hunter, which is standard Power Pro and metered. So we make a lot of them, and all of them are on our Power Pro website, powerpro.com, and they're all explained there. But I could spend the entire show talking about all the uses for all the different Power Pros.
Well, Hollow Ace is amazing.
Hollow Ace is amazing.
Yeah. Easy to splice, easy to do everything with it.
It really is.
So far superior to everything else.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
So you guys are going to be at the PCS show.
We are.
Big presence there, right?
Yep.
And you're going to have that, of course, that Talica demonstration. You'll have guys showing off the new Power Pro.
Yep, Max Quattro metered will be there.
metered.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the Power Pro will be
All
there,
the
but
Power
we'll have the Max Quattro metered there so people can see how that works too.
And then you got Benny Ortiz to be teaching people about speed jigging, right?
Well, he's especially a slow pitch master,
Slow pitch.
but all things jigging. Benny is
Yeah.
one of the really foremost jigging experts in the country. And the guy has such a great way about him that his ability to explain jigging and jigging techniques and his patience, and he's just really a super great guy for that. And I've had a chance to fish with him a few times. He filmed that Infinity Motive shoot with us in Charleston, and it was just fantastic. I couldn't even tell you how many different species we had over the course of 3 days, but just fantastic fishing. All those are on YouTube. Really, the cool part is I mean, it was really neat to see them, but it was also very informative from Benny about how he utilizes the rod to work different jigs in different situations. And slow pitch especially has become more and more technical because there's been a lot of innovation in jigs as well as reels and rods that all work together to provide different presentations in different situations.
Yeah.
And Benny is fantastic at explaining all that.
Yeah.
It's sort of demystifying all that.
Now, your guy that works for you, Brandon, or Blaine, excuse me, is also a jigging expert. He spent a couple hours here on the show with us talking about jigging and stuff like that. He's going to be there too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's another source. I mean, your booth is going to be really busy.
Well, I hope so.
Are you going to be there?
I am going to be there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I'll be there the
Coming
first 2 days.
First 2 days.
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
Of course, that's coming up March 6th.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It's really become a great show, and
it's really
so I hope everybody comes out.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I think it's going to be a well-attended show because pretty much everything there. By the way, Let's Talk Hookup will have a booth there this year. We're back in the showbiz. So
you got to work the whole time now.
Yes, we're going to have a booth again, and we're going to be. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity. Tommy P and Dave Dolan, and I know Dan are going to help us out in the booth, along with Wayne Cotto, formerly the director of CCA, now retired, but he just can't give.
He's not retired.
He's not retired. He can't give.
He was at the meeting yesterday.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah. He's not retired.
But we're going to be doing a special thing in our booth to raise money to take kids fishing in conjunction with Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea. We're going to be giving away a Talica 12, a Torium 20, and a pair of Costa sunglasses. And if you buy a bunch of tickets, you're going to get a Gamakatsu duffel. So we're going to be giving away tickets are $10 a piece, and all the money, 100%, goes to taking kids fishing and donated right directly to Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea at Friends of Rollo. So that'll be going on in our booth along with other things too. But that's our main focus is to do that. But hey, Dave, the phones are packed up and they want to talk to you. So line one is Don in Woodland Hills. Good morning, Don.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show, and excited to see Shimano at the upcoming PCS.
Great.
Look forward to seeing you there, Don.
Dave, I'm a huge fan of Talica's. Actually, that was my first 2-speed reel that I purchased years ago, and actually I got a TAC 25 when Shimano donated a reel for an auction for Friends of Rollo years ago.
Oh, fantastic.
So I have 2 questions for you. One, the power handle on the TAC 25 now is great. I actually put one of those on there from a TAC 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And can you put that power handle on a new TAC 20? And then the other question is, will you have the Shimano guys, the repair clinic at PCS this year?
So 2 good questions. Yes, that power handle from the new TAC 25 is completely interchangeable on the Talica 20. That's not a problem.
So the 20 and 25 come with 2 different handles.
Yeah, the 20 still has what we call the egg knob.
Right.
So like the first generation, and then the 25 has the more L-shaped different power handle, but they are interchangeable. So you could do either way. You could put the one that's on the 20 on the 25, or the 25 on the 20. So and then on the service team, yeah, that's a good question. Our team was still working out the details on that. So we will have people there that certainly can advise on that, but they were still finalizing that whole service area, so I can't finalize that for you right now. But
But it's
they're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have quite a team there.
We're going to have a lot of people there.
Yeah, a lot of people from coming from South Carolina.
Yeah, there'll be 5 or 6 of us from there, plus our Irvine team, because we still have people in Irvine. So yeah, and then of course all of our sales representatives
and the real repair guys,
are a lot of our pros. So yeah,
a lot of pros.
Yeah.
What are the pros besides Benny Ortiz? Do you know?
Yeah,
sure.
there's there's going to be quite a
pros.
few for different all different guys. So
All kinds of different guys.
Yep.
But and again, you're going to have the real repair guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, they were still working
Irvine
out
based.
there. Well, we have both. We have service in South Carolina and Irvine, but they were still working out the details on that space and how much they can do on the service.
Sure.
So, but that'll be worked out here. It's probably worked out now. They just didn't let me know before.
Well, you got other things to do.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. In addition, I might add too, you spent a lot of time working on CCA. I know the big meeting yesterday, and
yes.
How is that progressing? I mean, the whole issue with sand bass. I didn't get the report on the sand bass. Was there any news on the sand bass issue here?
The sand bass is a tough one. So there was a meeting this
Thursday.
Yeah, on Thursday, and it looked like we made progress in getting them to recognize that what they were trying to do is not the right path. And there was a lot of testimony on that seemed to really impact them. So I could go round and round. There's no conclusion yet, but
right.
The report from the meeting is that they realized that what they're trying to do is going to impact a lot of people in a really bad way, especially, a lot of people that just, they just want to fish and take some fish home. Half day, right. Small boat people and everything. So, but it is so that's not resolved yet, but we're more positive after that meeting that we can head off some of the problem than we were going in. But nonetheless, it's still a big issue about them wanting to close sand bass. There's still some people that want to close it completely during the spawning season, like no take whatsoever.
A lot of scientists that have bad science, basically.
They have no science.
They have no science. Yeah, that's
which is almost worse than bad science, because you can't even argue no science.
Yeah.
And that's been our issue all the way along. But without kind of going too deep, I know it's a fishing talk show, but CCA Cal, I just really appeal to everyone that, without CCA Cal, there would have been no one to defeating AB 3030 legislation, which would have cut off tremendous amount of fishing. CCA Cal was successful in that. They wanted to increase MPAs and no fishing areas, and we defeated that. Even though, or a lot of it, but they're still ongoing.
And the fight, both of those fights are still
go on. But without CCA Cal, they would have just done whatever they wanted to do.
Absolutely.
So, there'd be drift gill nets out here. We defeated drift gill nets, which was huge. We prevented the establishment of a longline fishery, which when there was a longline fishery here, I think we all knew the really negative impacts of that. White sea bass hatchery is still primarily driven by CCA Cal, and CCA Cal is trying to expand that into halibut hatchery. So those are two obviously really important fisheries here, and we've seen how overall strong the white sea bass fishery is, and there's absolute evidence that the hatchery is what's contributed primarily to that growth of that white sea bass fishery. So, and one of the latest things is that that we're engaged in is that there are efforts afloat to increase the commercial take of bluefin by both Mexican and American fleets.
Right.
And we're really engaged in that right now, because I don't think any of us want to see that. We've all enjoyed tremendous bluefin tuna fishery in the last several years.
Because of the reductions that
Because of the reductions. And so if that were to go ahead, I think that would have a really negative impact. So, and then there's like some simple things that we worked with SAC to ensure that sardines remained available as a live bait. This is all like in the last 4 years.
And a lot of this stuff is not out in the open that CCA does, but how important is that sardine fishery to our fishery? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. So, there's stuff. We got the cow cod conservation area opened after a 24-year closure. I'm sure some people enjoyed that deep water rock cod fishing. There are other issues with cod limits and fishing that we're still engaged in. They wanted more bag restrictions on California halibut, which we headed off. So, I mean, without CCA Cal, I think just in those issues that I mentioned, everyone could imagine how difficult the fishing would be here in California and how limited it would be. So this is my strong appeal to everyone to support CCA Cal. We only have 2 paid staff members. Everything else is volunteer. But all of these issues cost a lot of money.
Yep.
And so we really need the support for CCA Cal because there are more issues than we can handle financially right now. And
Join CCA.
Join
If you're not a
CCA,
member.
donate to CCA.
Donate.
Just help.
I donate every month.
Yeah.
It's an automatic debit on my credit card. And
It's a strong appeal to everyone that, again, if you enjoy our fishing, you got to have somebody looking out for, because the state would close all of this fishing down if they had the option and no opposition.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
One thing I might encourage our listeners to, if you can afford it, is to be a lifetime member,
Mhm.
because all that money stays in California.
Yes, it does.
And that's the difference between being just a regular member and a lifetime member. And it's $1,000, but it's a lifetime membership. And again, all that money goes to defending our rights to go fishing.
Yeah. And again, all those issues that I mentioned, and there's more, those were all accomplished with, again, just 2 paid staff and volunteers. So imagine how much more work we could do if we could afford to hire additional people to engage on every issue that everyone has, because there are issues that are near and dear to everyone based on the kind of fishing that they like to do. And if we could just hire 1 or 2 more people, imagine the capacity of issues that we would have. Again, just based on what I've said here in the last 4 years was done with 2 paid staff.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, in your new home, South Carolina, CCA is a big deal too.
It's a huge deal. Yeah.
And
well, really every coastal state in the country, but
Yeah.
it's very big in South Carolina.
And they have more staff and more things. And
They
more,
do.
And,
And
they
you-
have issues, right?
We have issues not
like here.
Not like
it's
here.
California.
No one has issues like here,
No.
to be honest with you. But I'm it's actually really interesting because you don't meet anybody in South Carolina that fishes inshore, especially that is not a member of CCA and doesn't come to the banquets and doesn't see how important it is. So, but Florida is similar and Texas is similar. And I mean, you could go through all the states, Georgia. But anyway, it's extremely important. So a very, very strong appeal. And, we have our largest fundraising event coming up in May, the Anthony Shea Dinner.
I was just
And
going to mention.
So
there's some guy named Dave Pfeiffer that's going to be honored with the Anthony Shea.
I am, and that is a huge honor for sure. But more importantly, just if people could come out and support that dinner.
Yep.
There's great silent auction items, live auction items. It's a fun time. Everybody from the industry is there, and it's just a really great chance to learn more about CCA and support CCA Cal. And have a good time.
Yeah, and that's May 1st.
Yep.
It's a Thursday. It's up in Long Beach.
Yep.
And I'll be there. And I know, like you say, most notable people in the industry will be there, as well as hardcore anglers and supporters of CCA will be there. If you want to go, ccacalifornia.org, just go on the events tab, and then you can buy a ticket and come join us to honor Dave Pfeiffer and support CCA.
Yeah, and it's really cool because Bass Pro Shops came on as the title sponsor, as the presenting sponsor. And actually, I was in Missouri last week and talked to John himself, and he was very excited to support CCA Cal and support this event. And so, for a company the size of Bass Pro Shop to recognize how important it is to support CCA Cal, I think is really a big deal. And it shows everyone in our industry understands how different California is when it comes to how many issues we have that are challenging, that limit our fishing. And so to have somebody like that come on board and support us financially is a really, really big deal. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, when we come back, more of your phone calls and a lot more Let's Talk Hookup with Dave Pfeiffer. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California Sport Fishing Voice. Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
All of us at the American Angler family want to express appreciation to our regular passengers that fish with us year after year, and to the new anglers that came out this last season. We realize how precious your vacation time is, and we are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us. It's important that your experience is memorable, from the moment you call the office to the time you step off the boat. Hi, I'm Lori. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. Come fishing with the American Angler family and make a memory.
Get ready for the most exciting outdoor show of the year,
the giant 15th annual Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Tackle Boat and Travel Show, March 6th to the 9th at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa. Check out hundreds of sport fishing exhibitors, manufacturers, tackle dealers, fishing boats, and fishing resorts taking up all 7 halls at the fairgrounds. 217,000 square feet, plus fantastic seminars and free kids trout pond. Backed by popular demand, the PCS show also has freshwater to cover bass and trout. Learn from some of the top names in the sport fishing industry, from catching giant bluefin, swordfish, calico bass, and more. Take advantage of incredible show specials from major tackle retailers and boat dealers. Talk to the top fishing travel destinations. 4 full days, Thursday, March 6th to Sunday, March 9th. The 15th annual Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Tackle, Boat, and Travel Show at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa. Don't miss it.
This is Bob Hoots at Costa Sunglasses. Visual signs are a critical part of my fishing program, from bay bass to bluefin. I wear Costas to see what's out there. Costas are built with advanced polarization technology with our 580 lens, designed to cut through the sun's glare while providing enhanced color to see more fish. Costa was founded by a group of anglers wanting a high-performance lens for every fishing application. Costa has a West Coast style frame and lens for your adventures. CostaSunglasses.com.
I've had the opportunity to fish many places in many different types of water, but never have I fished a place as much fun as Katmai Lodge in Alaska. Hello, my name is Harold Davis, typically fishing in the ocean, but this is an experience that you have to try for yourself. Fish natural rivers with tens of thousands of fish coming up. And they have all the gear: spinning, bait casting, fly rods, kings, silvers, pinks, sockeyes, and my favorite, the chums. Outstanding food, outstanding accommodations, great service. The lodge is located in the beautiful Katmai National Park, filled with amazing wildlife. Brown bears, moose, eagles, otters, and it has spectacular scenery. And also the fact that the lodge is located right on the Alagnak River and your boat is just steps away from your room makes it great. Do yourself a favor. Call Charmel at 1-800-330-0326 or go online, katmai.com. And like Pete says, they will hook you up. Hookup!
Excuse me. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. I got to press. See, I'm out of practice here. Got to press all the buttons here, and then we'll be good. 97.3 The Fan, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Let's Talk Hookup app, of course, is where we are. And it's time for the Catch Report here. And Catch Report, we have Marcos on hold, and Catch Report is sponsored by Dana Landing in Mission Bay, your one-stop shop for everything you need to go fishing: complete deli, beverages, boating supplies, as well as one of San Diego's most complete saltwater tackle shops. And also check out East County Bait and Tackle and Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, the best of both fresh and saltwater tackle, along with live bait. Dana Landing, of course, right next to the Dana Lawn Track in Mission Bay. ECBT is at the end of the 67 Freeway in Lakeside. And Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle on Broadway and Lemon Grove. Check danalanding.com for more information. And let's talk to Mr. Marcos from C4 Sport Fishing. Good morning, Marcos.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Hey, doing great. How's the fishing?
Well, let's be honest. February has not been very nice to us weather-wise, and I think we only got one trip out since the last time I talked to you guys. And Seaport's not on that, or I believe it was actually the Sea-Watch went out on a half day there. And well, about what we've seen, good whitefish in there, a little bit of bass, occasional other stuff in there. But beyond that, the weather did not play nice this week, but they're back out there. We're selling tickets for the morning trip right now. And go back out, take a look around. So not much to report, but I would look at the website. We've got trips coming up as long as that weather cooperates and keep running them. With those half days, the Tribute still has their day and a half schedule on the weekend going down the coast there. We're starting to put more trips up throughout the year. And one thing we talk about at this time of the year is if you're looking to do a charter or kind of a group outing, now's the time to start planning that. Don't wait till fishing's good, because a lot of times by then it's too late. So check the website, seaforthlanding.com. Got our full schedule up there. We've got all kinds of information about chartering the boats, schedules, make reservations straight online. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383, or come down and visit us in person. Grab a burrito next door, get your gear tuned up, get ready for the upcoming season, and then hop out on a boat and go fishing.
All right. Well, thanks, Marcos. Great job. Appreciate that very much. And we will talk to you next Saturday. I'll bet it's going to be way better next Saturday.
I'm hoping I have something a little better to report next weekend. For sure.
I think so for sure. The weather's supposed to be nice this week, so let's go get them. Appreciate that, Marcos. Thanks a lot for the call. Talk to you next week. All right.
Talk to you then, guys.
All right. And hey, let's jump back on those jam-packed phones. Roy from San Diego's on the line, on line 2. Good morning, Roy.
Hey, good morning, guys. Dave, you touched earlier on the new Tranks that's out, and I heard it was a 300. Couple of real quick questions. How often does Shimano kind of look at their reels and say, okay, it's time for a not a reboot or upgrade, but see what the public has been doing and how can we make it a little bit better? And then is that upgrade, I guess, going to go on to the other series of the Tranks?
Good question. So your first one is a little bit difficult to answer. We obviously are watching everything all the time. So what we study our service records, any complaints customers have about products. We study how they're being used, and all those factors. And what that results in is that some products may stay the same for a really long time because we just not having any issues, and how they're being used hasn't changed that much. Like Tiagra is an example of that. Whereas other products, we may see that the market in terms of how they're being used has changed, which is requiring maybe different features or something different, or maybe people are seeing issues over a longer term with them that we didn't see in the short term. And so then we make the decision to renew them. But then also that has to be combined with our technology abilities, our engineering abilities, to where we can actually do something meaningful to change it, make it lighter, make it stronger, make it whatever. So all those factors come into play. So you see some factors, some products change more quickly than others. And I will say typically freshwater products change a bit faster than saltwater products. And that is just because the freshwater markets in terms of techniques and everything change. Like, for example, if anyone's following freshwater, the whole use of forward-facing sonar has exploded. And so the types of lures that they're using, the pound test lines that they're using, and the techniques they're using is just changing rapidly to where they're demanding, new and different features and technologies in the reels that we have to sort of keep up with. Whereas certain saltwater markets maybe aren't changing quite as fast. So it's a combination of all those factors. I hope that answers your question. And on Tranks, yeah, the changes that we introduce in Tranks will flow to the other Tranks. That's pretty typical. We just usually don't have the engineering capacity to do them all at once. So we phase them in.
Yeah. It's like there's a lot to do.
It is.
Hey, Roy, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Line 6, we have John in Anaheim. Good morning, John.
Good morning, guys. I'm excited like a kid in a candy store. But my question to Dave is, I purchased a Talica 12 from a man named Billy Kay like 10 years ago, and I haven't ever done anything to it but wash it off with water. And I got 3 fish last year. My best was 170 on the 12, and such a great reel. I mean, now I almost have every Talica that you guys make, and it's just a great product, and it's, I can't talk too much about them because I don't know like how they work, but I've never had to service it. Billy Kay caught a 220 pounder on the 12, and man, it's the bomb.
There they are. That's one of my favorite reels of all time.
It is.
That Talica 12, and the new Talica 12.
Yeah.
The Talica 12A is even better. That's the thing, is that, John, you're going to have to upgrade because it is that much better.
John, it sounds like you got it. You said you didn't know anything about them, but it sounds like you got it figured out pretty good if you're catching fish like that. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Your question, Pete?
Yes.
So my friends all at Performance Tackle tell me a 12's too small, right? So I upgraded it to a 16A, right? I had to get a bigger reel, but actually it fits. It's smaller than my 12, but has more line. How do you do that?
Yes, he explained that earlier. It's all in the machining. Hey, John, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Appreciate that. very, very much. We're going to try and sneak in one more before the end of the top of the hour here. Daniel in Rancho Cucamonga was on 3. Good morning, Daniel. We have Daniel?
Lost him.
Okay, how about John in San Diego on 4 there?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Real quick, John, we only have about 30 seconds for you.
So my question is, on the Tranks, on the new one, right? What Power Pro line do you recommend for that casts really well, that you would think is specific to that reel itself?
Quick answer to that. A little bit depends on, sort of what you're doing, whether you're like calico bass fishing or if you're throwing surface iron, but anything in, to me, the 30 to 50 pound, especially Max Quattro, I think is ideal. 30 or 40 maybe being the best all around for calico bass fishing, stuff like that. That's going to be a good mix of capacity and easy casting.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for the call. We've come to the top of the hour here. And for those of you listening on the Let's Talk Hookup app, watching us on YouTube, Facebook Live, tune in. Full hour coming up next with Dave and more. And, of course, if you're on the fan, move over to the app or YouTube and Facebook Live. We'll see you on the other side here very shortly. Thanks to Jeff in the fan studio, and we'll be right back.
45 years. That's how long we've been right here on Mission Bay, helping friends and family like you discover the joy of sailing, kayaking, and everything life on the water has to offer. I'm Logan from Bass Lane Kayaks, and if you ask Ron and Debbie Lane whether 45 years feels like a long time, they'll tell you time flies when you're having fun. You see, the Lanes have followed their passion for a life on the water, and they've made a living inviting others along for the ride. Over the years, the shop has grown and changed, and so have the employees and products inside. From selling catamarans in the 1970s as newlyweds, living in a VW bus in the store parking lot, to being the destination Hobie fishing kayak store they are today, working with their 2 sons and daughter. You might be looking for a new way to enjoy time on the water with your family, or maybe you're looking for a new way to stay active, enjoy nature, explore, and catch a spotted bay bass. Whatever your goals, come visit us in Dana Landing on Mission Bay, and we'll get you geared up and ready to enjoy life on the water.
Shooting, hunting, and fishing tackle retailer since 1971 is right in your neighborhood. Now with stores throughout Southern, Central, and Northern California. No one does it better. Turner's Outdoorsman brings you the best prices and selection, plus a knowledgeable staff that will help make your day on the water or in the field more fun. Stop by your neighborhood Turner's Outdoorsman. To find a location nearest you, check the web at turners.com and sign up for special deals and more.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing. Need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
The PCS show is coming, and we will have our best booth at the show. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Check us out in the wildly popular saltwater building at the PCS show in Costa Mesa, where we will have some amazing deals for you on rods, reels, lures, and clothing. Everything at the Fisherman's Landing Tackle booth will be on sale. And as always, our expert staff will help you select that perfect setup for the fish you want to pursue. For saltwater tackle at the PCS show, your best stop is the Fisherman's Landing Tackle booth. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet. Fisherman's Landing offers half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the Liberty. Many trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sanden.
And welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live. Pete Gray here, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sanden out today. They're sick. Get well, guys. Hope you get back soon. And great guest here in the world headquarters, Dave Pfeiffer from Shimano. He's El Presidente, we call him. He is the man that leads the pack there of the greatest company in fishing tackle, and that is Shimano for sure. And super stoked to have him here and talking fishing and more. So we have this full hour to, again, on the app and YouTube and Facebook Live. If you want to get with us, of course, you have to text us this hour, and we're going to have super fun time reading your texts. We've got already tons of texts. I think I've counted in the break there over 100 texts already, Dave. So you're kind of popular.
I don't know that I am, but maybe Shimano is.
I think you're pretty popular, yeah. But anyway, time for the catch report right now with Captain Mark Wish from Pacific Edge. It's the fishdope.com report sponsored by Gamakatsu. Not just about hooks. There's more to Gamakatsu, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, I'm telling you, they are amazing. And the new tools are also very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic blades, so they'll never rust. See your local dealer or check gamakatsu.com and watch for them at the PCS show. They're going to have some amazing specials that we'll talk more about next weekend, though. It's going to be a fantastic place to go check out, and that is the Gamakatsu booth at the PCS show coming up very soon. All right, let's talk to Captain Mark Wish, our private border buddy from Pacific Edge. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Pete. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
Great show, man. Everything's fantastic. Man, I appreciate you guys helping out with all these issues we got on the sport fishing front, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, holy cow is right, Mark.
It's unbelievable, but you know, it looks like we're sort of holding our own, so that part's good. But we definitely got a double dose of winter here this past week. You know, a storm had been forecast for some time. They watched this thing for a couple weeks coming across, and man, it verified as predicted. Lots of rain, lots of wind. We got 2.5 inches here at my house in Huntington Beach, and then a swell on the outside yesterday was up to almost 20 feet, gusting almost 50 at some of the offshore islands.
Oh.
That was the real deal.
Yeah, let me
so
tell you, Mark,
mighty.
when Lolly and I got back from Chile on Wednesday morning. Perfect timing, right? So we went from summer, of course, in South America to what happened to our hometown here in San Diego? It's cold, it's windy, it's rainy. I mean, God.
Yeah. It's just, man, it was the real deal. And you know, but we haven't had much of it. And it doesn't look like we're going to get much more of it. I mean, the long-range forecast out 10 days is all pretty benign right now. So, yeah, who knows? But it just is what it is. But there was just not a lot of opportunity for guys getting out. I only got one report, and that was from early in the week. And these guys made it out to Isers, and they caught a few sand bass and sculpin, and then turned tail and ran because everybody on the boat was turning green. They were reaching for the barf bucket. So that was the report for the week there. But you know, with conditions straightening out, you know, the wind's going to be backing off. It's still pretty gnarly on the outside right now, but you know, it's going to be backing down, and we're going to get back to that good halibut fishing that we've had both along the coast here. You know, it was steady and some really nice ones and in a number of different areas up in this part of town. So that should bounce back as conditions stabilize. And the same over at Catalina, that shallow water fishing for the halibuts was really good. And as soon as the water cleans up and and stabilizes again, that'll get back on the program. And it's getting toward that time that we should see a little more sea bass. You know, they kind of put a little show on for a little bit, kind of faded away. There's been some nice schools of really good grade fish around, and coupled with the abundance of squid, it bodes well for a worthy season. So hopefully that comes together. I imagine that it will. And of course, we'll be keeping you on top of it when it does. So for a little sidebar, something different, you know, I was inspired by you, Pete. You're out there doing your field research. So I did a little bit of field research Sunday morning before the Super Bowl. So I don't, Pete, did you get a chance to listen to when Danny Wade was on the show here a couple weeks back?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was pretty amazing.
That was a great show. So he said something that got me thinking that I'd never tried before. So I took a jig stick and several of my old Patty 45 favorites off the Hall of Fame wall and went down to the marina here just to try something that he had mentioned. So I'd never cut a hook off of a jig to see the difference that it would make in how it swims. And so I had a couple different jigs with a couple different sizes of hooks, and so I was looking at the one and then looking at the other, because the water down there in the harbor right now, it's crystal clear. It's really easy to see. And it's pretty interesting how they swim. And then wound up cutting the hook off completely. Holy crap, what a difference. I mean, everything that you see
the way
in a
the jig
normal
swam, you
surface
mean?
iron, yeah, but it was accentuated tremendously once you cut the hook off. So he, you know, what Danny was saying is, you know, they were talking about the different hook sizes and different lengths of hook on the shanks. I was fitting some different ones on, and collectively, it was really interesting. You can really tune the swimming of the jig substantially by a little smaller hook, a little shorter shank versus the bigger ones with the bigger shanks, longer shanks. It was an interesting education for somebody that loves throwing surface iron like I do when I get a chance.
No, that's a
stuff.
great show. If you go back in the Let's Talk Hookup archives on the Let's Talk Hookup app, or of course on our website too, letstalkhookup.com, go back and listen. If you like to talk about jigs and just want to hear kind of geek out about jig fishing, those three guys were so amazing. It was such a good show.
And you missed out, buddy. I mean, I hope those trouts made up for it.
No, I was listening. Where was I when that show was on? I was somewhere in southern Chile in Patagonia, but I was listening on the Let's Talk Hookup app, and it was a great show. Yeah, it was good.
What
stuff.
a fantastic setup you got with that app now, Pete. It's absolutely amazing.
The app is the stuff. Yeah, we're pretty stoked about it. And of course, stoked about you. And of course, fishdope.com. Always the right information. $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code hookup now. Lowercase, no space. Hookup now, your $30 code. And Mark, how do we find you?
Well, Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. Phone number at the store is area code 714-840-4262. The website's pacificedgetackle.com. And just a reminder to back up what Dave was saying about joining CCA, guys. Yeah, CCA needs your help. It needs your support. I'm a lifetime member. Everybody that can should do that. But give them all the support we can, because we need them, man. Those guys want our fishery in the worst way.
So badly. Yeah. And now more than ever, for sure. And I also want to mention, too, when you talk about the app and such like that, our new stream that we started at the beginning of this year when we switched over to the fan, George from Backbone Media has just been a sensational job. And the sound quality on the app now is so far superior. I don't know that you've noticed that, but I've had a lot of comments about that. But I noticed it when I was listening a lot. So the sound quality is amazing on the app right now.
Yeah, I have noticed. It's great.
Yeah. Well,
it's
great.
All good, buddy.
Yeah. Well, great, Mark. Appreciate you. And of course, are we going to see you at the big CCA dinner honoring Dave? I'm putting him on the spot here, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening to that thinking, I should really go.
You should. It's in your backyard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what really tweaked me was when you said it was right there at Long Beach. So yeah, I think we might do that.
All
Yeah, that'd
right.
be fun.
Great. All right, Mark. We'll see you there, and May 1st, and looking forward to next Saturday with you on Let's Talk Hookup. Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
Okay, you got it. We'll see you guys.
All right. See you later. All right. Lots going on here. And of course, some amazing texts here too that are coming through. And here's one from Benny Florentino from Coastal Charters. He says, "Congratulations, Dave, on your induction. Thank you for all you do for our rights to go fishing in California." And of course, Benny Florentino will be in the Shimano booth.
That's the one I told Pete. I was telling Pete at the break that I stumbled on. I was thinking because Benny Ortiz is going to be there, and then I was another Benny.
There's another Benny.
So thank you, Benny, and yeah, you'll be there, which we appreciate. You're fantastic with people for everything California fishing, and especially calico bass and yellowtail and all that stuff. So you're awesome with people, and we appreciate you being there.
Benny is the ultimate pro staff guy.
Oh, he is.
I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of pro staffs across the country. I mean, there's not many that are better or near as good as
just
Benny
like the
Florentino.
other Benny. He has
Yeah.
just a great way with people. He's really, really patient and really takes the time to explain things and does it in a way that's just so helpful. And so I encourage everybody to come out and meet both Bennies, but if you're interested in anything, like I said, calico bass, inshore, really anything California, to come and talk with Benny as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Of course, that's going to be at the Costa Mesa at the fairgrounds there, and March 6th through 9.
Yep.
And we'll be there. Let's Talk Hookup will be there. Shimano will have a huge presence, a huge booth.
We will. Let me just quickly mention an earlier question. So one of my guys texted me while we were in the show. We're not going to have reel repair in the booth. We will have techs there that can do two things. They can answer questions about your service, and they can also help facilitate getting your reels to us for service.
Yeah.
So, yep, they'll be there.
I mean, if you bring your reel to them and take it apart in front of them, I wonder if they'd help.
I really wouldn't recommend that because only because we won't have all the tools and the parts.
Right.
Once you get something apart, the best thing to do is to put it back together, and you want to do that with the right stuff. So, but again, they'll talk you through any questions that you have, and then how we can get it serviced for you.
Yeah. But if you bring your reel and you take it apart, bring a paper bag.
No, don't. Would you stop? Just stop. I already clarified. I don't need you creating problems.
Okay, I won't do that. All right. Hey, from Corey and Escondido, a great text here. And he says, thank you both for all your support for the fishing community and resources. Question for Dave: with the explosion of speed jigging in Southern California, can you please talk about the Shimano rods and reels that you recommend? And is there anything new in the pipeline? And thank you for providing the best gear.
Oh, wow. Well, great question. So, on the jigging rod side, we make a number of different jigging rods. We talked about in the last hour, Infinity Motive, which is not really speed jigging, that's slow pitch. And there's really a significant place for slow pitch in the market now. Not everything is speed jigging anymore, but we have Game Type J, we have Grappler, we have, I could go on. We have so many series, our original Travala series, all jigging rods. And then we have more jigging specific reels now than we ever have. We have Osea jigger in multiple sizes, and also high speed and power gear. And then we have the new Osea jigger LD, the lever drag in that.
Amazing.
And that is
That's
a real powerhouse. So I could again spend hours talking about all of those and the pairings, but I think now the way jigging has progressed in the different techniques, there's a place for a slow pitch and a high speed in your, in the selection. And a lot of that has to do with what you're fishing for and what the conditions are. Like yellowtail will respond great to slow pitch and high speed, depending on how active they are or how deep in the water they're holding, or etc. I think cod fishing, they probably respond a little bit better to slow pitch because they're more bottom oriented, and slow pitch stays in the bite zone near the bottom longer than high speed jigging. So again, there's just a lot of different options, but if you really want high speed jigging, I would recommend looking at our Game Type J or Grappler series, and pairing those with an
those are made for jigging.
100% for jigging, and pair them with an OSHA jigger high speed The size depends on how deep
Is
you're
that
fishing.
the lever drag?
No, that's the star drag.
The star drag.
For speed jigging, I like the star drag a little bit better for the lever drag for slow pitch. But equally well, if you already have a Trinidad, like a Trinidad 16, that works great for high speed jigging as well. So
What's the difference between slow pitch and speed jigging?
So speed jigging, you're working up and down vertically in the water column, and you're usually covering a pretty large section of the water column. So you hit bottom, and then you speed jig up to a certain point, and then you go back down. But the jig is constantly, if you imagine the nose of the jig is constantly pointing up and going up, right? Like a bait fish that is moving from the bottom almost straight up. Slow pitch is a much slower, obviously, technique where the jig moves much more horizontally in the water column and does not cover as much depth at any one time. So you're able to stay more precisely in a specific depth, right? Because the jig is working back and forth horizontally. Yeah, there's still some up movement, but it stays, long sweeps horizontally. Yeah.
More like what you do for the bluefin.
Yep.
Nighttime jigging for bluefin.
Yep. Nighttime jigging for bluefin. And then also, like I said, I think cod fishing is really is made because cod don't range that far from the bottom.
No.
So you want to stay horizontal on the bottom. I mean, literally the jig, if you're working it right, will be moving parallel to the bottom.
Oh.
And then you kick it and it moves back parallel. Now, again, it's coming up slightly each time.
And how do you work the jig to make it that way?
It's a real slow movement with a very soft tip rod. The rod, it'll be
Like a grappler.
Like a grappler or infinity motive. We make grappler in slow J. So you're going to make a long sweeping, well, it can be long or it can be short, a sweeping lift to where the rod tip will lift and sort of kick the jig off to the side. Now that you have to use a slow pitch jig, obviously,
right.
But and then you're not going to take a lot of winds. It's a very small wind, and then you're going to lift again, and then it's going to push it back the other way. So very, very tough to do over the radio.
No, well, you're also on YouTube and Facebook, so the camera's right there, and they're watching your movements.
Well,
so,
if I'd known that,
yeah.
I would have done a rod, but I'm still doing a terrible job of it. So,
no, you are. I get it.
But yeah, so it can be a high lift or a medium lift, and then as the rod recovers, it pushes the jig horizontally.
Okay.
And then you drop the rod a little bit.
That's
you
the
take
jig design.
Yeah, you take a small wind, and then you do it again, and it'll push it back the other way.
Okay.
And how much or how frequently you do that lift will determine how far horizontally you want it to go.
Interesting.
So,
what the speed of the lift is.
Whereas high speed, you're moving the rod very, very quickly, short bursts of, jigging and winding, jigging, winding, and you're pushing the jig straight up the water column. So slow pitch works phenomenal for tuna because you're literally and yellowtail, because you're literally putting it right in front of their face.
Wow.
I mean, it's coming at them on a horizontal. And so it sounds difficult but it's not.
Yeah.
It's actually slow pitch is really easy on you.
Yeah.
It's really easy on you.
Now, we talked about using Stella.
Yep.
That would not be the ideal the spinning rod would not be ideal for slow pitch or it's more for speed jigging.
What I would say, you can use conventional or spinning for slow pitch or speed jigging.
Mm-hmm.
I personally find conventional easier on slow pitch.
Slow pitch.
But I think spinning excels in speed jigging. So when I was just in Panama, we were speed jigging and using Stellas. Yeah, because you want it.
You're covering more water column.
You're covering more water column, and the fish are moving a lot.
Uh-huh.
At least where we were, the yellowfins were moving around. They were in porpoise, so they're moving fast. So you're using the speed jig to try to get their attention really, really quickly, right? And they're suspended up off the bottom, so you're able to go down past them and then speed jig quickly up through them, and try to get a reaction bite while they're moving. So again, every situation is different. We could talk for hours about it. So come to PCS and talk with Benny. He can, because there you're able to ask him to say, hey, look, I'm doing this kind of fishing.
Or Blaine will be there. Blaine's really good at it.
Yeah, and just say,
or you
or me. I'm doing this kind of fishing. What would you recommend? Right. And can you show me how to do it? And he can do that, because not everybody is fishing for tuna and cod and yellowtail and whatever. Right. So you can come and just say, hey, I really want to learn how to slow pitch for rock cod. Can you show me how you would do that? or I really want a speed jig for yellowtail, or I want, and he can really kind of take you through that, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. All right. Hey, John in Rancho San Diego says, great to hear, Dave. Welcome back, Pete. Hey, Dave, I love my Shimano Speedmaster. Any changes, scheduled for that reel? And can you comment on development of Shimano rods? I love my Talus and my Terramar.
Oh, nice.
He's a Shimano guy.
Yeah, thank you very much. I assume you're talking Speedmaster lever drag, and we don't have any immediate plans to do anything there. That was not introduced that long ago. On rod development, that's a pretty broad question. The one thing going on with Shimano is we have a lot of proprietary technology with our Spiral X and High Power X, which is really designed to make the blank lighter, slightly smaller diameter, really powerful, and sort of doesn't collapse on you. And so very fast recovery. And so we're just trying to continually increase the R&D in that. The materials available for rod building are not changing that much these days. So how you work with them and the technology that you can develop that you can add to them is really what we're focused a lot on. But graphite is kind of graphite now. There's not a lot of development in new types of graphite that everybody doesn't know about. So that's where we're focused in rod development, and always trying to find out how to make something lighter, stronger, just more powerful and easier on you to fish with.
Not easy, for sure.
No, it's not. But anyway, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, cool. Well, hey, let's go to Sitka, Alaska right now and talk to our good buddy Seth Bone from Kingfisher Charters. Good morning, Seth.
Hey, good morning, Pete.
Hey, great to hear you, and super excited about the upcoming Alaska season here. And of course, Kingfisher, we always say it, the best of the best. The best fishing, the best lodge, the best boats, and the best fish processing, the best of everything at Kingfisher. And what's amazing about Kingfisher is we've been doing this trip with you for, I'm going to say, close to 30 years. Is that right, Seth?
Yeah, I think it is. It is almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe because we look so young. I don't know how that's possible.
How is that possible? I don't know. Yeah. Well, of course, you look really young. But you, for the first time, I can think in recent memory, actually have some spots left on our prime time Let's Talk Hookup trip in June, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a little unusual. I think probably people assume that it's booked, because it usually is way in advance. And I just was looking at the calendar the other day and thought, but maybe it's time to let people know, because this is a great trip, and there are a few spots open, and not too late.
Yeah, and the advantage of that trip is it's right in the peak of the king salmon run, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just peak for kings, halibut, black cod, everything we target. Maybe not peak for silvers, but for everything else, it's as good as it gets.
Yeah, and what's cool about, you mentioned black cod. We had black cod last night for Lolly made Valentine's Day dinner for black cod from Kingfisher that we caught in June, and it was still as fresh as it could be. It was pretty unbelievable. But the black cod thing, you guys have dialed that in, haven't you? Even Heath, your brother.
yeah. The guys are into it, and it's just so good and actually fun. I mean, fishing with electric reels. Fishing with electric reels from 1,500 feet doesn't necessarily sound, super sporty and fun, but it's kind of fun, kind of novel, and the fish are just so good to eat.
It is. And then, of course, the King Run has been, of course, last year was a spectacular year. And what's the forecast? Any forecasts yet about the abundance of the King yet?
I haven't heard anything concrete, but from what I've heard, it's probably positive, so hopefully a little, the trend seems to be up. It seems like it troughed out maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And the trend seems to be upwards. So we're optimistic.
Yeah, for sure. Now, of course, our trip starts on Father's Day. So what a great thing to do for your dad. Take him to Kingfisher Charters. And that's June 15th through the 19th. And go catch some black cod, go catch some king salmon. Go catch some giant halibut and all of that. And one of the things I'll mention too is, knock on wood, and of course, if you don't like the weather in Alaska, wait a minute. But traditionally, that time of the year, the weather's pretty darn good, right?
Yeah, overall, I mean, well, except when you come up. But
Wait a minute now. Let's back up. The last 2 times I came up, it was flat, calm, and gorgeous, and not a drop of rain. So that onus is off of me now.
Yes, you've reversed the curse.
Reverse the curse, right? Yeah. And by the way, I'm not coming up this year, so it's even going to be double good. So you can guarantee that. But Ricky
that's right.
Ricky will be there along with the whole Let's Talk Hookup cruise. So yeah, that'll be great. So yeah, good fishing, great operation, and you have of course the best captains in Sitka and the best operation there. And of course, you always take really good care of our listeners. If somebody wants to grab one of those spots that's left over June 15th through 19 of this year, how do we find them, Seth?
Well, we're at kingfishercharters.com, and we also have a link on the Let's Talk Hookup website.
Yep.
And phone number is 907-747-6136.
Right. And of course, right on the front page of the Let's Talk Hookup website, there's a Kingfisher banner. Just click on that banner, give you all the information. But give a call to the guys in the office there, book those trips. And you have other spots available in the season too, besides the ones. And if June 15th doesn't work, if Father's Day doesn't work out for you, there's other spots available too.
Yeah, that's true. There are quite a few dates that are booked up, but there's also a good scattering of trips open through the summer.
All right. Great, Seth. All right. 800, is it 907? Give us the number one more time.
Yeah, 907-747-6136.
All right, 907-747-6136 or kingfishercharters.com. Great to hear from you, Seth, and looking forward to getting an update as we get more toward the season there, and grab those spots on that June 15th through 19th trip on the Let's Talk Hookup group.
Yeah, all right. Thanks so much, Pete.
All right, thanks. Nice to hear from you. Great to hear from you, Seth. All right. That's fantastic. And, lots of good questions, Dave. Again, they're stacking up here for you. And, got a great question here from Kevin in Santa Ana, and it says, Dave, really into the JDM spinning reels and the 1,000 and 2,000 side with shallow spools. Any way we can get those in the American market? And how about a Trinidad 40 or a Trinidad 40N? So I have no idea what he's talking about, but I know you.
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, as far as the JDM, most of the reels that we sell in the U.S. now are they're global platforms.
JDM is Japanese
domestic market. So there's not a lot of differences, but the shallow spool, and we don't have a plan on the shallow spool right now, mainly because we just don't see a lot of demand for it. So it doesn't mean that you don't have a use for it, but the shallow spools require use of really, really light line and not a lot of capacity. And we haven't seen, at least by our research and from all of our retailers, that there's just enough significant demand for it. So that's why we haven't brought it in so far. But certainly as techniques change, that might happen, going forward. Trinidad 40, Trinidad 40N, we've been there. We've done that. When we had a Thorium 40, it's just not a market that has lasting, it doesn't have legs to it. We sell a few and then that's kind of it. So we haven't invested in a new Trinidad 40N for that reason. And like I said, it just seems like
you'll see a Jiggers kind of took over for that, right?
There is a Osea Jigger that's similar in size to a 40. It just, like I said, it seems like the market it doesn't have enough legs to it to justify keeping one in the lineup of that size. And we all seem to like it, but that's pretty much where it ends.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but there is a Thorium 40 and a Thorium 50
yes,
in the product line right now, and that would be as close as we have. And we do sell enough of those to make sense keeping it in the product line.
Yeah, and Thorium is basically a little, just a different version of a Trinidad, right?
It shares some of the same technology, different body construction, but gearing is basically the same, and the drag system is basically the same. The main difference is in the frame material and the frame construction versus the Trinidad. Still both all metal, but Trinidad's all machined
Right.
And so Torium's a little bit different.
Torium 40 and 50. What is the main market for a Torium 40 and 50 out of curiosity?
Actually, you know what? Our main market is in Hawaii for lure fishing.
Aha.
But it is also, it has pockets for bottom fishing that a lot of people like to use it for.
You could put a lot of Power Pro Max
Oh, you
Quattro
can
on
put
there.
so much on there. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Now in the lure market, they need that. They make really long casts from those cliffs. I mean, you're starting a couple hundred feet above the water, and I did that one time. It's crazy.
Is
And,
it?
Yeah.
Did you catch one?
We did catch one. Yeah, we caught
Wow.
a couple that trip. It was
Wow.
pretty cool. But so yeah, that's the main market. But some people here have played with them for yo-yo fishing and stuff. But it's very effective, but it's also pretty big if you're going to do it all day long. So
How long are those rods that they use for lure fishing?
oh, they're like off the top of my head, I think they're like 10, 12 feet.
Big ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just have to make sure when you make your cast, you don't fall off the cliff.
I didn't even try. I watched them do it, and I've surface iron fished my whole life. And they're like, "You want to try?" And I said, "No,
No, thanks.
Don't want to try."
Yeah. I hear you. Well, hey, a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming up with Dave Pfeiffer. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California Sport Fishing Boys on YouTube and Facebook Live and the Let's Talk Hookup app. Outboard during Yamaha's New Year, New Reliability sales event. From now until March 31st, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha 450 to 30 horsepower outboard and get up to 7 years of coverage protection. Looking to hit the water with lower horsepower? There's a deal for you too. Purchase a new Yamaha 25 to 2.5 horsepower outboard and receive up to $200 in dealer credit toward the purchase of additional goods and services. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Subject to change. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Select models exclude 24-month Yamaha extended service added to a 36 or 60-month factory limited warranty. Choice offered to Florida residents is a 24-month Yamaha limited warranty. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealer for details. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
Hey anglers, AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance to staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at AFCO.com.
It's time to talk about great products from Shimano. And, we were talking about Stella, and I want to hear more about Stella and why people in California should use Stella. There's a lot to that.
There is a lot to that. I think I'm going to be really, really straight because I fished here a lot of years. I think it really just depends on what's happening here as far as, the fishing, meaning like in those years where we had a lot of surface bluefin and really good popper fishing, Stella was perfect for that.
Yeah.
And I used it a ton.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I used it a ton and I caught all kinds of big bluefin tuna on it. But if it's a live bait fly lining thing, etc., then I think some of the more traditional California techniques make sense. As we talked earlier, if there's speed jigging going on, I think Stella is great for that. I used to do an awful lot of yellowtail jigging around San Clemente Island in deep water, and I used spinning for that. So if it goes back to an anchovy year, I will say that,
boy,
for whatever size tuna, fly lining with spinning reel and Stella is, absolutely awesome.
Unbelievable.
But,
and the new Stella
yeah,
would even be better, right?
well, it will. But even if you have an old Stella, I got to be honest and say there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
It's going to be
no. I love my
fantastic. So, but it's also just embracing what spinning reels can do, and the California market is typically not embraced what spinning reels are capable of. And the new spinning reels today, I think, are even more advanced than conventional reels in terms of what they can do.
Well, check them out at your local Shimano dealer, the new Stella.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore with different colors every 100 feet. Perfect for flatfall fishing. Want to learn more? Check powerpro.com.
A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limit, Elgato Dos, Pride, Tribute Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open party schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live. Dave Pfeiffer's here with me in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup on a beautiful Southern California morning.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a great day here in SoCal after a nice, much-needed rainfall. And glad to have Dave in the studio and helping us out here and all that stuff. And lots of good texts here. I mean, like I say, over 100 I've counted so far. And Norman from San Diego has a question. He says, the origins of speed jigging. Where did the technique speed jigging come with the short rods and the small high-speed reels originate? Was it in Asia? And when did it arrive in Southern California?
It started in Japan, and I experienced it over there, and I came back here and immediately started doing that. And that would have been in the was it late 90s, I guess it was. And I just started
catching. That was originally with butterfly jigs.
Yeah. I started catching.
I remember I used to fish with you when you were a West Coast resident, and it was, what the heck are you doing here, Dave?
I made people go with me, and I wouldn't even stop. We were going tuna fishing. That's when there was still albacore here and everything. And I wouldn't get bait. And like, what are we doing? I said, no, we're just going jigging today. And we would just go jigging for tunas and catch albacore. And we caught yellowfins, we caught bluefins, yellowtail, bottom fish. Effectively, really effectively. So the origin is definitely in Japan. And, but then, I think, Shimano was largely responsible for, I can't say we were the only ones that did it in the US, but we popularized it in the US when we introduced the original butterfly jigging system. And, it's only grown since then. So yeah, that's the deal.
So what's interesting to me is the evolution of the butterfly and the speed jigging types. So the original butterfly it still exists.
Yep.
It's still around. And then you have the flat side, and then like endless number of different changes in that.
Yeah.
Why all the different changes?
Mainly just because one, how many more species people are learning to catch on jigs, the greater depth. I mean, people are fishing 700-800 feet of water now jigging. And so when you get into all those factors, the conditions are different. Like the market has been able to develop jigs that work better in heavy current or no current. And then again, also depending on the kind of fish that hold really tight to the bottom versus fish that suspend in the water column. And so it's a matter of bringing all those factors together. Like a long jig has not a lot of resistance. And so in heavy current type of situations, you can move it along pretty fast because the boat is drifting very fast with the current. But a long jig has less water resistance, so you can sort of stay vertical a little bit better. And then of course there's just different actions. Like a butterfly flat fall has a lot of flutter to it, but some of the other flat fall type jigs, even that we make, have less flutter and more movement. So again, it's just like any type of lure, different conditions. Sometimes things are just more effective, whether you're fishing a crankbait for bass wire, there's square lips and round lips and balsa and rattling and non-rattling. It's all just based on the conditions. But there is certain jigs that are just very, very versatile. I mean, if you narrow it down, a butterfly flat side or a butterfly flat fall still can probably cover. Well, that depends on how deep you're fishing. But those two jigs can still probably cover 80% of the situations that you're going to run into, right?
I'm fishing. I love fishing cod here.
Yeah.
And I know you do too. We fish cod together.
Yeah,
I love fishing rock cod here. And give me your ideal setup for fishing 300 feet. Rod, reel, line, lure.
If I was fishing 300 feet for cod here now, I would fish a slow pitch. And so I would fish probably, a grappler slow jig or a game type J slow jig. And I would fish it on a Osea jigger 2000.
Okay.
And I'd probably go to like 50-pound max quattro or 40-pound max quattro. So it's
that light, huh?
Yeah, because our cod don't pull. They
Yeah.
don't
No.
pull hard. They're not going to rock
And
you.
and you're going to get down faster
And have
more-
less water resistance on your line. So even if we land at 40-pound max quattro, and you can probably get away with 30 to 40-pound leader, fluorocarbon leader. Benny will tell you even lighter. Benny Ortiz fishes lighter on all that stuff. And then I would go with, honestly, these days, probably like our sardine waver, which is a new jig that we introduced not too long ago. And it's an absolute killer jig. And
300 gram?
You could get away less than that, I think, even in 300 feet, because we don't also usually have real strong current here.
Yeah.
Our current is pretty moderate. So you could get away with them like 180, 160, 180, maybe up to 200, but I don't think you need to go to 300
Don't have
gram.
to go that high.
And that thing is it's just money. You're going to catch reds. You're going to catch lings.
Again, it's the
sardine waver.
Sardine waver.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put that on my list.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really good all-purpose jig, but is especially easy to work on slow pitch. So a flat fall will work great too. I've really come to like this new sardine waver a lot.
And the
I fish
technique
it-
would be drop it all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
Pull it up a little bit and just work that bottom water column.
Yep.
Yeah. And how would you work it? Show us on YouTube right now.
So yeah, like if you were to take a 180, you're going to make a fairly, especially in that deep, you're going to come up fairly high
Okay.
to allow the rod to do this.
Okay.
And then you're going to take one wind down, which will allow the jig to move back this way, and then lift again, and it's going to go this way.
Okay.
And one way, and I would do that about 3 times, and then let it fall to the bottom. But obviously, feel the line. Always be feeling the line for it to stop on the way down, which means you got to bite on the way down.
The best part of that is getting that bite on the jig, right?
So like a 180 or a 250 gram sardine waver is just going to be as a super easy jig to work and really effective, especially in deep water.
Now, would you use the new Max Quattro offshore, the metered line? What?
I wouldn't necessarily.
What's the name of that again? I'm sorry.
It's just the Max Quattro metered.
Metered.
And mainly because in that case, it changes color every 100 feet, and you're not going to come up 100 feet. Now, you could use, so not to confuse the situation, we make standard Power Pro and Depth Hunter that changes color every 25 feet for jigging. And you could certainly use it there. I just don't, I mean, those fish are all going to be within 10 feet to 15 feet of the bottom, maybe 20 feet tops. So I don't think that the depth control is as important. And you're dropping to the bottom anyway. So you're going to find the bottom, and then you're only going to come up probably 3 times, and you're going to go back down.
Go back down. Yeah. So metered line is not.
It's not helping you that much.
But regular Max Quattro.
Max Quattro I've definitely used just to get that smaller diameter, which is less drag in the water. And so therefore you're more vertical. The whole thing about jigging is always staying more vertical. When you scope way out, it's just not as effective in terms of working the jig.
So if the wind's blowing, such like that, you really.
If the wind's blowing, increase the size of your jig first.
Okay.
And then you may have to wind all the way up and start over more frequently to keep things vertical.
Okay. Good tips. Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, here's one from Brian in San Diego. He says, great show. As an avid surf fisherman in San Diego, I would be curious to hear Dave's recommendation on Shimano's go-to surf reel that is light, casts well, and is able to take some water contact that maintains functionality. It's a good question. You know, it
is a good question.
Because I wouldn't use Stella in the surf.
Well, you certainly,
I guess you could.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
'Cause
Stella
it's
has
pretty tough.
all of the advanced features, but I think so. I'm assuming we're talking about surf perch and that sort of thing.
Corvina,
Yeah.
that kind of
So honestly, I think you can't beat all around is a Stratic.
Stratic is an amazing reel.
A Stratic 3000 with light Power Pro and a fluorocarbon leader, and then we make. There's more rods than I could possibly list that I think 7 or 7'6", medium light, fast or extra fast light tip that would cast, far if you want it, but allows you to, mend your line up high, which I think is really important in the surf. And I've started doing a lot of surf fishing in South Carolina, and I'm using similar type equipment, but I think anything in that range would be.
What's your go-to in South Carolina?
I use a Stratic, and then
3,000.
Yeah, I use a 2,500 or a 3,000. Either one is fine because I'm fishing light line. And then you can pretty much, again, the rod thing, I kind of grab whatever I have. To be honest with you, I have different Loomis NRX pluses because I'm spoiled and I can. You don't have to use that.
Sure.
We have things in our X Pride lineup or our Zodius lineup or any of those that are great for that. So they're very sensitive, light, easy to carry around all day. But like a 7 or 7.6 medium light, extra fast with a Stratic 3000, you go all the way down to like 15-pound Power Pro, and a light fluorocarbon leader would be dynamite.
There you go.
But Stratic they just last and last and last.
Yeah, for sure. And they're reasonably priced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even below that, there's still plenty of other options. That's just, if they said my go-to, that's my go-to. I just love fishing Stratics.
Andy in Ventura says, I'm in the market for a 30-pound 2-speed lever drag reel for fly lining for tuna. I'm really interested in the Talica 10, one of my favorite reels, but was considering waiting for the new generation like the 12 and the 16. When will the next generation Talica 10 or Talica 8 reels be on the market?
To be honest, I don't have a schedule for that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So if you need it, you're going to have to do it.
But I can tell you, Talica 10, fishing light, is absolutely my favorite reel, my favorite go-to reel.
I fished the Talica 10 out here for, everything. Yellowtail, sea bass, tuna up to 30, 40, 50 pounds. All of that on a Talica 10. Yeah, 100%. But you can also fish it down to even small species. You can fish calico bass and barracudas and everything with it.
Yeah. Ask Ron Lane over at Fastlane Kayaks what his favorite reels. He'll say Talica 10 all day long. Yeah, for sure. That's some really good questions. So you don't know when stuff gets introduced, you just the engineers just say, here's what's coming.
No, we do know the schedules. Sometimes we can share, sometimes we can't. But if I say I don't know the schedule, it means I haven't even seen that we have that up for renewal at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Derek in Lake Elsinore writes, good morning, guys. I use a Tranx 500 on my jig stick for yellowtail. Me too. That's
Me
the
too.
best. Yeah.
Everyone told me I was crazy. Can't do it.
Oh, dude, it's the best. My question, does Shimano make a deckhand style surface iron rod for this type of fishing?
Yes, we do in our Terramar lineup. Yep.
Yeah. And one of my favorites is like the Terramar. Of course, I like a 9-foot, the 900. I believe it's a medium.
Yeah, we make a few different ones in Terramar. 90 MH is all around like total money for that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And so jig fishing. So why Talica? Why do you
Well, you mean white
Tranx?
Yeah. I started fishing. I think I can honestly say I was probably the first person here to ever throw surface iron on the Tranx, because everyone said, "Oh, it's a bait caster. It's got a level wind. You can't do that. It's never going to hold up." And I did it all day long, and I did it with straight Power Pro. And even Ricky, if he was here, I would challenge him, because Ricky told me I was crazy. You can't do it. And
ask him what he uses.
And ask him what he uses now. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Because he was like, "Oh, if you're going to use that, why don't you give me all your Trinidad DCs and all your," I said, "That's fine." But it is so easy to cast. And with the cast control, with the variable brake system, and the level wind, is they don't fail. And the reel is light. It's easy to maneuver. Everything about it is just perfect for surface iron fishing. Everything. And then also the gear ratio. And it's not always just the gear ratio. It's the height and width of your spool and your gear ratio that give you the, your align per crank, and your control on the Tranx 500 is just dynamite.
It is dynamite for sure. And you'd recommend the Tranx 500, the high speed one,
yes,
HG, for that,
because you can always slow down, but it's hard to speed up, because we make the Tranx 500 in a power gear. But I've always found it's a lot easier to slow down than it is to speed up. Now, I will say, because I was a surface iron collector freak for years and years and years. All of the really old surface iron was made at a time when reels were low speed. So if you do fish some of the really old surface iron, which I did, I fished those on a power gear.
Oh, really?
Because there was no high speed reels back then. Those jigs were all designed around the reels of the time. If you went back to the 60s, 70s, there was no high speed reels.
Yeah.
So all those jigs were designed to be fished on low speed reels.
The Tranks 500 PG versus the HG is the one we use
Yeah,
mostly.
I would use the HG.
You say that,
today,
yeah, but the PG power gear, is it that much more powerful, or it's just the speed?
It's slow. It's the speed, so it's
Yeah.
slower, which makes it more powerful.
Okay,
Yeah,
I get it. All right, very good. Another one here from Sam in Irvine says, "Good morning. I've been looking for the grappler rod for slow jigging. What reel would you recommend for fishing a 300 to 400 gram jig? Additionally, what is your favorite Shimano slow pitch jig?"
Well, we covered that.
Yeah,
I
with
think
the
in the
sardine
last
waiver,
one. Yeah,
right?
sardine waiver. And then I would use the Osea Jigger 2000.
The 2000.
Yeah, and I like it in the high speed, similar.
Such a nice reel.
Yeah, yeah.
So powerful.
Now either the Jigger 2000 or the Jigger LD. I really, honestly, I've only fished the Jigger LD for just about a season. So
And what's the difference between the
well, the lever drag versus the star drag.
Star drag.
And I really, really like it. I just I have so much familiarity with the star drag. So I'm only telling you from my own experience. I'm so comfortable with it and everything. And last summer I started fishing the LD, and I
nice
really
reel
like
too.
that as well. But I tend to favor that one for when I'm fishing, at least back there, for really big groupers. If I was fishing for big yellowtail here at San Clemente Island, slow pitch, which I used to do up on the 9 all the time, I would use that LD all day.
Interesting. Yeah, it's just the next wave of great reels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So question back on Tranks again.
Mhm.
So the new Tranks 300.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a 400 and a 500 in that new version?
Oh, there will eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get all the secrets out of you.
I think to some degree we're a little predictable in that way. So yeah,
No.
I mean the 400 will follow.
And,
at some point.
and again, remind me of the differences between a Tranks 300 and the new Tranks 300.
Well, the main difference is the body construction, where we make the side plate and frame all out of one piece, as opposed. So it's a 2-piece construction, not a 3-piece construction. So there's the handle side plate attaches to a frame that is all one piece, including the left side plate if you're looking at a right-handed reel. So it improves the rigidity of the reel tremendously.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, and along with the lines, Dave from Anaheim says, "I've seen some YouTube videos on the Shimano Scorpion. They compare it to the Tranks 300. Is the Scorpion designed for saltwater, and can you talk about the dual drag system?"
Well, those are, really
What is
different
that?
questions there. So the Scorpion, I haven't fished the Scorpion. That's the JDM
Japanese domestic.
Yeah, and it's a different reel. I haven't fished it, so I can't tell them too much about it. Here's what I'll tell people a lot about the JDM stuff is that certain things if there's anything that we feel is right for our market, we introduce it here. So when you get into a lot of the JDM stuff, they fish on average a lot lighter lines. They don't catch as big a fish as we do. So they value sometimes like incredible smoothness over anything else, and durability is not an issue. So a lot of times, a lot of our JDM reels will use aluminum gears or something like that for smoothness because they're using far lighter lines. If you take that same reel and you fish US standard lines on it, where they might be using the equivalent of 10 or 15 pound Power Pro, we use 30, 40, or 50, is you're not going to have the gear durability that we put into the US spec. So in other words, they can anything that's JDM that we don't sell here is because they took into account their fishery and their specification, and our version takes into account our fishery and our specification. Sometimes those are the same and we sell them,
right?
And sometimes they're different. So we sell a US version, or we just don't sell the JDM version.
Right.
So
if it's something for our market that caters to our market, it's going to be here.
it's going to be here.
Yeah. So
it's not like because
it's just because
my job is to increase our sales.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Right?
And if it's going to sell
If
here,
it's going
you're
to
gonna
sell,
it.
I'm going to sell it.
Okay.
If we're not selling it, there's a reason for it. It's either A, because it really doesn't meet the US market specifications, B, there might be some sort of trademark issue or patent issue or whatever. That's rare, but it happens. But that's the bottom line, is that if there's a market for it, we're going to sell it. It's not like we're trying to keep it secret over there. So yeah. And I don't remember the second part of that question.
I don't either. So let's move on to the next one, because we only have about 30 seconds left. But this is from Chris, and calling us from Alaska. And he says, I love the convenience and portability of 3-piece travel rods.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Is Shimano ever going to get back into that market, or is Loomis into that market?
We have a few 3-piece travel rods in the Shimano lineup now. They're really much more freshwater oriented. Yeah. So I assume he's probably talking about saltwater. And so the answer is, we don't have an immediate introduction plan, but yes, that is something that we're looking at. It's been hard for us to land on something that everyone likes, because they seem to want the same specialization in their rods and 3-piece travel as they do out of single piece travel, or single piece rods, pardon me, not travel rods. So that is something probably on the horizon for us, but I don't have an immediate plan, but we do have some freshwater stuff now.
All right, great. Well, when we come back, we're going to announce the winner of that G-Loomis IMX Pro Offshore. Wrap things up here on Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California Sport Fishing Voice, on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
I'm so tired.
Whether you're going fishing, diving, or just having fun on the water, there's nothing more worth doing than messing around in boats. So let me ask you, are you ready to upgrade your ride? Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland is your exclusive Western U.S. dealer for Steiger Craft. Created for inshore and offshore waters and laid out with the serious fisherman in mind, Steiger Craft has built a solid reputation for performance and excellent rough water handling. If adventure on the water is what you live for, now's the time to invest in your passion. Call Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland at 510-437-1444. To look at the whole fleet of Steiger Craft online, go to steigercraft.com. Now's the time for a rugged, reliable, and fast Steiger Craft from Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. So, if you want your tackle to be the state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar, available at fine tackle dealers.
Get ready for the most exciting outdoor show of the year, the giant 15th annual Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Tackle Boat and Travel Show, March 6th to the 9th at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa. Check out hundreds of sport fishing exhibitors, manufacturers, tackle dealers, fishing boats, and fishing resorts taking up all 7 halls at the fairgrounds. 217,000 square feet, plus fantastic seminars and free kids trout pond. Backed by popular demand, the PCS show also has freshwater to cover bass and trout. Learn from some of the top names in the sport fishing industry, from catching giant bluefin, swordfish, calico bass, and more. Take advantage of incredible show specials from major tackle retailers and boat dealers. Talk to the top fishing travel destinations. 4 full days, Thursday, March 6th to Sunday, March 9th. The 15th annual Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Tackle, Boat, and Travel Show at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa. Don't miss it.
Hey, this is Rosie with Cedros Sport Fishing. We have always been the leader in fishing trips to Cedros Island. We have set the bar even higher with our second lodge opening for the 2022 season. Side-by-side lodges sitting on the cliff's edge with relaxing ocean views. With direct flights departing to the CBX in San Diego, we are committed to providing first-class service to our guests and an unforgettable fishing experience. Come check out the Yellowtail and Calico Bass capital in the world. Nobody does it better than Cedros Sport Fishing. Call me at 619-772-7570 or check us out at cedrosportfishing.com.
Hey, San Diego, it's the Ford President's Day Sell-a-thon. 4 days of the biggest savings on an incredible selection. From F-150, Bronco Sport, or the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. It's your time to save during Sell-a-thon, but it all ends February 17th. So visit your San Diego County Ford dealers today. They'll be glad to hook you up. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live. And Dave, we've picked a caller and a texter. And now it's the time to find out who's going to win that G. Loomis Rail Rod IMX Pro Offshore. Go ahead and flip the coin. It's a texter, and it's Andy in Ventura. Congratulations,
Andy.
Nice job on the flip. Big high flip.
Yeah, it was a heavy
Appreciate
coin.
that. Yeah. Hey, Dave. Great having you. I wish we could have you more often.
I appreciate it.
I wish you still lived out here so I could fish with you.
I do too.
But I enjoyed fishing with you back in South Carolina. I definitely
Yep.
have to go do that again. But if somebody wants more info on Shimano, I think one of the best things to do is go to PCS, right?
You go to PCS or, hit our website. Everything, all of our contact information, everything is on fish.shimano.com. So all the product information related to the questions people were asking, maybe not the use, but at least the specs, but contact numbers for service, for everything. It's all on there. Fish.shimano.com.
Fish.shimano.com. Yeah.
Yep.
And of course you can link that on the Let's Talk Hookup website. And of course, thanks for being such a long-term and grateful sponsorship here on Let's
Always
Talk Hookup. You've
enjoy
been with
it.
us for over 30 years.
That's a long time.
And and we're very grateful for that. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
And, look forward to seeing you at PCS.
Yep.
Look
Thanks,
forward
everybody.
to seeing you back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, Facebook Live, and of course 97.3 The Fan. And that's going to be a great show. And what a great guest we have lined up for you tomorrow. It's going to be just so much fun indeed to have you back here on Let's Talk Hookup. And it's going to be Bob from Cantor from Katmai Lodge, going to be talking some Alaska fishing up
Nice.
at Katmai.
Yeah.
And Brandon Bono will be here co-hosting with me. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow morning right back here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan, and of course the Let's Talk Hookup app.